All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Today we will be reading from Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 20, Conversations between Maitreya and Vidura, Text 53. Text 53. We'll all do Mangalchant. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutha Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vangsha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagvat Sevayat Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Text 53. Tebhyas chaikaikasha swasyam chaikaikasha swasyam Dehasyam sam adhadhaja sam adhadhaja Yattat samadhi yogardhi tapo vidya viraktimat Tebhyas chaikaikasha swasya Dehasyam samadhad aja Yattat samadhi yogardhi tapo vidya viraktimat. Tapo vidya viraktimat. Vaishnavas. Tebhyaschaikasha swasya. Dehasyam samadhanaja. Yatat samadhi yogardi. Tapo vidya viraktimat. Tebhyaschaikasha swasya. Dehasyam samadhajaga. Yatat samadhi yogardi. Tapo vidya viraktimat. Tebhyaschaikasha swasya. Dehasyam samadhajam. Yatat samadhi yogardi. Tapo vidya viraktimat. Tebhya, to them, cha, and ekekasha, each one, swasya, of his own, dehasya, body, sam, part, adat, gave, ajaha, the unborn Brahma, yat, which, tad, that, samadhi, deep meditation, yoga, concentration of the mind, riddhi, supernatural power, tapaha, austerity, vidya, knowledge, virakti, renunciation, mad, possessing. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. To each one of these sons, the unborn creator of the universe gave a part of his own body, which was characterized by deep meditation, mental concentration, supernatural power, austerity, adoration, and renunciation. Purport. The word viraktimat in this verse means possessed of the qualification of renunciation. Spiritual realization cannot be attained by materialistic persons. For those who are addicted to sense enjoyment, spiritual realization is not possible. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that those who are too much attached to seeking material possessions and material enjoyments cannot reach yoga samadhi, absorption in Krishna consciousness. Propaganda that one can enjoy this life materially and at the same time spiritually advance is simply bogus. The principle of renunciation are four: to avoid illicit sex, to avoid meat eating, to avoid intoxication, and to avoid gambling. These four principles are called tapasya or austerity. To absorb the mind in the Supreme, in Krishna consciousness, is the process of spiritual realization. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 3rd canto, 20th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Conversations between Maitreya and Vidura. Jai. So here we are seeing the conclusion of, when we say conclusion means the concluding point, maybe that's the right way to say it, the concluding point that Maitreya is presenting to Vidura. He is saying that in this way, Brahma gave part of his body. Right? So usually, this idea of giving birth, right, is that you give some part of yourself to the next progeny. Right? Brahmana, how does he do this? Brahmana does this by giving knowledge. Right? So Brahmana gives a part of himself. Right? He gives his knowledge. And that is why now when you think of Dronacharya, right? Dronacharya asks Ekalavya,
You have taken something from me. Now, nowadays, modern society will not understand this. In fact, they will think Dronacharya was a fool. Right? Why? Because if you want to know something, how do you do it? Google. Right? Knowledge is free. It's freely available. Right? You want to learn how to fix something, go into YouTube. I was doing some plumbing work on the weekend. Plumber. From IT to plumbing. It didn't work, by the way. I have to call a plumber now. I tried. I was pulling the wrench. So I was opening YouTube. I had YouTube open here. Now open the wrench. Press it there. Turn, twist. So, you're doing. Knowledge is freely available. So we are thinking it's very cheap. But actually, a Brahmana, knowledge is his possession. It is his. What is Brahmaswa? That's the term Krishna uses, right? The possession of a Brahmana. He uses this term. This is in Krishna book. I forgot which chapter. The King Nriga, the story of King Nriga in that chapter. Whichever chapter that is. I think that's in the latter end of it when King Nriga's story is told. Brahmaswa, he says the possession of a Brahmana. And he tells his boys, be very careful about the possessions of a Brahmana. Like that's the point being made, right? So here, this Brahmana, he gives himself to society by giving that possession of knowledge. So when Dronacharya looks at Ekalavya and says, you have taken something from me, now you have to give something back. Right? You have taken something, you have to give something back. So then that conversation is considered okay. It is an equal exchange. Right? That equal exchange is valid. Because usually what happens is that a student lives in the teacher's ashram, student, cleans the teacher's ashram, cleans the teacher's clothes, it does genuine service. So then the Brahmana feels like giving something. Right? Patan, yajan, yajan, dana, pratigraha. So when the Brahmana is giving something, he is doing dana. When the teacher is giving, he is doing dana. What is the student doing? Student is pratigraha and he is doing the studies. So he is doing both together. So, then in Gurukul, everyone is Brahmanical, even though the nature of the person receiving may be Kshatriya. Like the ones who may be receiving may be Kshatriyas, but the activity they are doing is Brahmanical. So they are actually Brahmanas. Right? That is why even though these guys may have been, they may be sons of your enemy. Right? So, like you have a big enemy. Kshatriya enemy. But his son is now in Gurukul, and if the son comes begging for food, you give. You have to give. Right? They have come as Brahmanas. You see in Jarasandha? Jarasandha says, I can see, mark of, the bow string, and I can see marks all over the body. They look like Kshatriya, but they have come in the form of a Brahmana. I will give. So the Kshatriyas had that nature, that although they may notice there is some animosity, but Brahmanas have come, you must give. So that's how Kshatriya gave. So we're talking about how Brahmana gave. Brahmana gave his knowledge. Kshatriya gave protection. That's how Kshatriya gives part of his body. Kshatriya will kill himself for it. Right? Just imagine, just think about it. If someone tells you are going to become temple president, okay, you're like, yes, temple president, yeah. And now they say, okay, Prabhu, now you have to go and give up your body. Wait, hang on a minute. That wasn't the deal. See, but the Kshatriya is like that. Yeah? He will take possession of something, he will kill himself for it. So this was the greatness of a Kshatriya. Right, when you see that story in Mahabharata, that, Yudhishthir and Pandavas are given, what is the name of that forest they were given? Indraprastha. I forgot the name of the forest. Kandaravana. Yeah, Kandaravana. They are given that Kandaravana and they are saying, now here you have to create your kingdom. So they did it, with the help of Krishna, through help of, blessings of Krishna, they were able to do it. Now when they built the kingdom, naturally people came. Why people came? Because they are saying, if there's a protected area, you will come to live. Right? Imagine you have to go renting for a house. Right? You step outside and you see this place, you see homeless people walking around the street and you're seeing, people are selling drugs on the side. You'll be like, I don't want to live here. Rent may be cheap, but I don't want to live here. Why? It's not safe. And then you see another gated community and you're thinking, okay, this is a nice gated community, I can live here. You see, when something is safe, you feel like living there. Even though it may be a little more than what you can afford. But you'll feel like, okay, I can live here. Yes? So this idea is what Kshatriyas provide. They provide that protection. This is how they give part of their body. Vaishya, how does he give part? He gives part by protecting the cows and doing agriculture. So he is putting his effort so food can come and then he can give to everybody. So this is what we are doing is we are doing the reverse. Okay, we are doing Jnanamoy, Pranamoy. We are going the reverse way. Okay, so we are going downwards, but Srila Prabhupada explains it upwards, like Annamoy, Pranamoy, Jnanamoy, Vijnanamoy. But we are doing it reverse to say that how each one is giving part of themselves. Right? So this is coming from Brahma, this idea that you give part of yourself, right? So then he is giving a way in which the society can, do exchange. Protect the cows, you give agriculture, people can protect themselves. And then finally the Shudra, how is he doing? How is he providing? By doing the economics. That's how Shudra provides himself in society. And today's modern society, today, what you and all of us are living in, what is its running purpose? Economy. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. Everybody is Shudra in Kali Yuga. Right? We are all contributing to this economic model. Right? You will go outside, you have to buy something. You have to buy. See, just look at your life, okay? Just think about this. Just step back and think, okay? You have to buy your own clothes. You step outside, you have to buy the bus fare. Right? Then you go, you have to buy food. Right? You have to buy the place to rent. Nothing seems to be free. If you just, calculate it, Wi-Fi you have to pay for. They call free Wi-Fi, you have to pay for it. Wi-Fi, everything you have to pay for. You're like, what is free here? Something should be free, right? So Srila Prabhupada is roaming around in the park. This is in New York. He's sitting and he's saying, let them work. We will enjoy the park for free. He's saying, this is Brahmana. Brahmana genuinely takes things for free. Yeah. That's why Brahmana had no need for money, because society gave them things for free. Brahmana would go beg, Bhiksham Dehi, Madhukari. You go, ask, they will give. The way it worked was that the students would go out, beg, whatever food came back, everybody ate there. Like, so if there are 40 of them, all 40 ate whatever we could beg. Right? Just imagine for a second. Whatever books you do, that's how much prasadam you get. Oh, we did only 9 books today. Okay, 30 of us only get this much rice. That was how Gurukul system was. How much you did, that much you get. Finish now, you have to survive in this. And sometimes you tighten the belt and sleep. So that's why Bhima, in the night he used to go and eat. Because you're not getting food, right? Bhima would quietly go in the night and eat something. And Arjuna saw, Bhima, how you are able to eat in the night? Practice. I can smell food. I know where it is. So Bhima was expert. But this idea that the Brahmana, he can enjoy for free. Right? So this is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada would say that as in a Brahmanical culture, you have to start recognizing there are things which are free because society provides it. Like you go to St. Leonard's Park. You enjoy it, right? It's a place for enjoyment. It's free, sort of. Somebody is paying the taxes, right? But then the Brahmanas, they should enjoy it for free. So this concept does exist. This is Vedic. Now, in Vokism culture, like this modern thing, they're talking about how education, there should be no debt. They say, wipe out the student debt. Wipe it out. Because they're trying to grapple with this idea that things should be free. Healthcare should be free. Right? Education should be free. They're trying to grapple. They understand this. Something should be free, right? You can't just pay for everything. Are you noticing? So society is kind of trying to get there, but they don't know how to get there. The Daiva Varnashrama actually shows you how to get there. That yes, things are free. Education is free. But you have to do something. You have to dedicate yourself, and yes, it comes free. Right? So things are free. It's not like they are not. But there is a particular way the society must be structured for things to be free. Right? Now, we were talking about how everybody participates. Now, Brahma, he's showcasing this idea of how you have to give part of yourself in the creation. So this is where Brahma is here. Tebhya shaike kasha swasya. Each one of his, from each one of his, senses, right? He is giving deha syamsam adad aja. Deha, he is giving little bit of himself. Right? So Brahma is doing that. Right? Now, what does that tell you? That sitting here in this room, each and every one of us have some part of Brahma. Some part of Brahma is in each and every one of us. Now, a Brahmavadi or a Mayavadi will extend that concept. Oh, so therefore you are Brahman. Oh, therefore you are God. So Brahmavadi will take you to the point that therefore you are Brahman. Mayavadi will take you to the extra layer of therefore you are God. Right? That's how they do it. They'll take you one level to the next level, right? But the idea is that they are taking this concept that, oh, there is a little bit of Brahman in you. So, just pull it up, you are Brahman, and then pull it further up, you are God. So that's their foolishness, right? But here what we have to see is that Brahma is giving a little bit of himself, but Brahma is still there. Brahma hasn't vanished. Although Brahma may be a jiva. So there are three Brahmas, right? There is Hiranyagarbha Brahma, which we were discussing in Canto 2. So Canto 2 was talking a little bit about Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Then you have Vairaja Brahma. Then it talks about, the Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Shukta prayers and all. So there is Vairaja Brahma. Like the 1,000-formed, 1,000-armed, all of those prayers are for Vairaja Brahma. Right? Then there is the actual Brahma who's Jiva Tattva. Right? So then that is the actual the Brahma that we know of. That we guys are visualizing, the four-headed form. Right? So that is the third position. Now, this personality, although they are Jiva, and so therefore if they give part of their body, they lose the body. It's not like the body stays as it is, right? Because that's how material body works. You give a little bit, it's gone. Right? Then, you have to do more austerity to get it back. So Brahma, he continuously keeps doing austerity to rejuvenate his body. Right? That is why he does austerity. He needs to keep his body rejuvenated because to cause this creation, he has to give his body. Does that make sense? He's giving his body to cause this creation, so he has to keep doing austerity to keep rejuvenating it back. So that's why you will hear concepts like this in Greek mythology, how Odin must sleep to rejuvenate his body. You will hear things like, Zeus, their body is deteriorating, as they're creating. And so this concept that comes into Christianity, how God becomes old as he creates. This idea that when you start seeing, they're all, basically at the level of Brahma. That is why they have a concept of heaven and hell. They're all stuck in this range of just Brahma. We were having a, interfaith conversation. This is in, what was the name? UNSW. And so they were talking about, there was a person representing the Jews, some representing Christians. I think there was a Muslim, yeah. And then there was us representing the Hindus. So I think these three were talking about how heaven is there and hell is there. And then I was telling them, I said, see, the principle of the Veda doesn't worry about heaven and hell because that is still stuck in the material manifestation. You're still, bouncing up and down. I don't know if you've seen that ping pong game. You're still bouncing in the heaven and hell, right? So that's it. The whole time, that's all you're doing. So I told them that no, Vedic or presentation in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita actually tells you to get out of this cycle. Right? So you will notice this in mythology, these concepts are coming out. And you can see them even in Bhagavatam. This idea of getting old, deprecating the body, shredding the body, getting a new one. All of these concepts you will see. And these concepts have even gotten into, your modern culture in comic books. In comic books, you will see a great these concepts, body rejuvenating, body getting destroyed. All of these concepts are coming. Right? So they have roots to the Vedas. Every philosophy eventually roots into the Veda. Whichever philosophy you're coming up with, roots back in. Right? Because Vedas are the roots. Right? So remember that inverted tree? Right? Who are the roots? What are the roots? So then you'll see one of them in one of the trunks, the Vedas. Right? So it's there. It's part of the root system. Right? So here now, let's go to what Brahma is actually giving. It says, each one of his sons, the unborn creator of the universe, gave a part of his own body, which was characterized by deep meditation, mental concentration, supernatural power, austerity, adoration, and renunciation. So, each and every one of us has these things. Every single one of us has this. We can deeply meditate. We can. You may know many people who are very good at meditation, right? We can have good mental concentration. You've seen people, some people are very good. You may even notice some guys who are like, scientists or, scientifically inclined. They have good mental concentration. I don't know if you ever sit down and listen to somebody talk about, theoretical physics. You will like your mouth will dry up when you're listening. You're like, what are they talking about? But they're just going on and on. They go 3-hour lectures. 3 hours. I sat once in my college, hour and a half lecture, theoretical physics. I was like, it's hard to, you have to take sellotape to, keep your eyes open. You can't. It's hard. He's like, what are they talking about? Right? But no, great enthusiasm. Mental concentration. It's there. It's hard. Mental concentration is actually quite hard. Because in deep meditation, you have the ability to close your eyes. You have that ability. In mental concentration, all your senses are open. Right? In deep meditation, your senses withdraw. You remember the turtle? Right? The withdraw. Is it turtle or tortoise? No, turtle only, I think. Or tortoise. I think tortoise maybe. I forgot Bhagavad Gita. I think turtle or tortoise. But when you withdraw your senses. So in that, deep meditation is there. You withdraw the senses, right? It's in the withdrawal state. But in mental concentration, is a little different. That's why in the yoga, you will see, what is that? I forgot the two D's. Sorry, dhyana. Thank you. Dhyana. So in dhyana, it's mental concentration. And it is different to when you are established. What is the D? The other D? Dharana. So in deep meditation, you are dharana. But in dhyana, your senses are no longer pulled back. It is very different. That's why they are the two different stages, right? Otherwise, you may be thinking, well, it's the same, isn't it? You're just sitting like that. No. In one, you withdraw. One is the withdrawal state. The next state is the engagement stage. So both of them exist. Deep meditation, mental concentration. Then there is supernatural power. Right? We have that ability. Yes? You can get that ability of, the yoga siddhis, prapti siddhi. You can get that. Anima, lagima, you can get. Yes? In Canto 11 of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's very nicely, Krishna explains to Uddhava about the mystic yogic strength. And he talks about how the personality who represents each of this mystic yogic strength is Krishna. Right? Smaller than the smallest, Krishna is Paramatma in every atom. Okay? Nothing gets, the smallest, thing. I mean, at that time we used to call it atom. Now, I think now they call it quartz or something, right? The smallest thing. Whatever that smallest thing is, Krishna is in that. So he's smaller than that. So then that, anima, lagima. Then he says, lagima, Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, lagima. So then, in each of those steps, he's saying Krishna is lighter than the lightest, heavier than the heaviest. Then actually for all the yogic strengths, he says Krishna is the highest. So in these yogic strengths, these yogis who are concentrating and meditating to get these powers, right? Eventually they will come to Paramatma. Because all roads will eventually lead there. You first start with, no, I want to be anima. And then you're saying, in that, you'll see, this Krishna seems to be the best in this. Lagima. And so that is why it is said that the yogi, through many, many years of concentration, lifetime, when I say years, many lifetimes, it will eventually come to Paramatma. Right? And Paramatma Sandarbha Jiva Goswami makes this point. That they will keep searching it through one angle, but they will all eventually reach to Paramatma. Okay, he seems to be the one with everything. Right? And so then slowly they will graduate. So then you have the yogis and then you have the Hiranyagarbhis. Right? Hiranyagarbhis are like the 4 Kumaras. They are the Hiranyagarbhis. So they're all yogis, but they are different stage yogis. They are Hiranyagarbhis. So they can actually go meet Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So they have that ability. Whereas the standard yogi will only get to Shirodakshaya. So a standard yogi gets to Shirodakshaya, Hiranyagarbhis get to Garbhodakshaya. Right? And we are very lucky that, we go beyond these 3 principles. Even Karnodaksha, we go straight to Krishna. So we are higher in terms of what we have. right? In platform, not us individually. The platform we have is higher. Right now, what we do with the platform is up to us. That is our individual choice. So then there is a supernatural power, austerity. So austerity, you can see yourselves, you can go through fasting. Janmashtami, just Janmashtami, then Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja. I got between 2 to 3, eat as much as you can, and next day you have to fast again. Right? Just continuous fasting. You will see even the Muslims, when they do Ramadan, 30 days, they are fasting. And they eat in the night, but then they fasting. So people do. People, take austerity on. There is a type of austerity where what a yogi would do is they'll put fire, like they'll, burn fire around them, and then they'll sit down and they'll meditate. In Mahabharata, I think there are 2-3 stories of such stories where the person is sitting down amongst the fire and meditating. They're doing austerity, strange austerity. I was a kid and we had gone to Haridwar. And you do find some of these guys, they're real, real. There's this one guy who was basically just, put his head on the ground, like into the ground, covered himself and just doing a headstand. And I think probably he did it for an hour or so. An hour or 2 hours, like a long time. I mean, I remember coming in, he was there when I returned back after doing, the Ganga Snan, maybe more 2-3 hours. Ganga Snan came back, he was still there, still doing that. People do. Great austerity. And then sometimes what happens is we look at our austerity. Nothing. Nothing. Our austerity is nothing. Chant your rounds, get khichdi, relax, air conditioning. It's good. It's good. Srila Prabhupada has made a house, real house, ashrama. It is good. But there are people who have genuinely done austerity. I don't know, have you seen that picture of this Babaji? He's in Himalayas and the Indian soldiers caught him. I don't know if you've seen that picture, or they caught one Babaji. Right? The guy is in, literally in gamchas. Okay? In the top of near Siachen, where these soldiers are wearing 3 layered coats. And they are soldiers. Okay, so they have been trained. So you can see the soldiers, and they're holding the camera. And this Babaji says, Ram, 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 Ram. He's like running he's, like putting ice on himself. He's, rolling on, he's rolling down this one. Then they catch him. They say, Babaji, Babaji. And then he comes close. They see him and then he just rolls. Like they're trying to get him, but the ice is so thick that, they're trying to lift themselves, walk on the ice, that thick ice. They're lifting their legs to walk in. This guy is just, just smoothly floating and then rolling down and then runs off. And they can't catch him. And so then these soldiers are saying like this, we have seen 4 or 5 Babajis here. He says, we don't know what they do the whole day. They just, somewhere they come from, they're just roaming around here. So the people who do great austerity. And this guy is a Vaishnava, so he's wearing the Vaishnav tilak. The Vaishnav tilak. So, even in the Himalayas and all, you can find chandan and all to make tilak. So these guys know where to get stuff. And they were talking to another Babaji. He says, I live here. And so what he is doing is, with ice, he's taking a shower. With ice, he's like rubbing the eyes and just cleaning his matted hair. So these people are doing great austerity. Great austerity. Right? Sometimes we are thinking, Krishna, I chanted 16 rounds. Where's my $1 million? Many times I stand here in Gopinath. I'm like, Gopinath, this vending machine. That coin, you insert the coin down there, donation box. Kning. Okay, Krishna, I want $1 million, 2 cars. Immediately you start asking. It is because you're feeling like, Krishna, I've done so much for you. So much. What have you done? Honestly, what have you done? You get up, just this. That's it. So, but there are people who put genuine austerity. Then adoration. Adoration is 2 ways, right? One is you give adoration and you receive adoration. Both ways, right? That is there. And then, of course, Srila Prabhupada focuses on this. Virakti mat. You possess the qualification of renunciation. All of us. We possess that quality. How many take it? Sitting in this room, 1, 2. Sitting in this room right now, 2. Just in this room. Now, but I am also, yeah, we're not saying you're not. You have renounced, so many things. Srila Prabhupada gives the 4 renunciations. So you have done. You are also a renunciate. But taking the renunciation to the next level in the room, out of like how many? Maybe we'll say 20%, 80-20 rule. Standard 80-20 rule, right? Only 20% have taken. Right? But Virakti Mat, we possess the qualification of renunciation. And who does this qualification come from? From Brahma. Brahma is so renounced, he gives up his body. Brahma renounces his body. Just, there's a problem, this body is a problem, renounce it. How many here would renounce a body when it's trouble? No. Okay, my body has a problem, but it's mine. It's me. How will I renounce this body? So, but that quality, that Virakti Mat, possessing qualification of renunciation exists. Now, Srila Prabhupada. However, to fructify that renunciation, to fructify it, one needs to be a devotee of Krishna. To fructify it, because the Brahmavadi and the Mayavadi, they are also renounced. They have understood this, that I possess renunciation. They understand this. I possess it. It's mine. Right? But but they can't renounce their karana sharira. Ishwaro aham bhogi. That karana, that reason for being in this material manifest, that karana sharira, they can't give up. To give up that sharira, that karana sharira, one has to take to devotion. Because not Ishwaro aham bhogi, Ishwaro Krishna bhogi. Bhoktaram jagya tapasam. Sarvaloka maheshwara. That is the correct shloka. Right? That he is the enjoyer and he is the maheshwara. He is the Ishwara. That is the correct shloka. This chapter 16, Ishwaro aham bhogi. This is karana sharira. Right? So the renunciate, although we possess this renunciation, it will not get us out of this material manifestation. That's the problem. Renunciation cannot get us out of this material manifestation. Only relationship with Krishna can pull us out. Only that. Nothing else can get us out of the... Renunciation can get us all the way up to Brahma Jyoti. Right? That is the highest we can get to. And that also, when we say Brahma Jyoti, we are talking about the Brahma Jyoti which is looking downwards. Downwards means to the material manifestation. Not the Brahma Jyoti looking upwards to the spiritual manifestation. The one looking upwards is Sadashiva's Dham. The one looking downward is Shambhu's Dham. That's where we go. If we are going to be in this mood of, I'm just going to be renounced, I'm a Brahmavadi or a Mayavadi. Either or. Usually, like Lord Chaitanya says, Mayavadi actually goes to hell. So, we are Gaudiyas, so we take what Lord Chaitanya says. They are actually going to hell. But Brahmavadi can get up to that stage. Get up to that layer which is looking down, Mahakala Dham. That's what it's called. I was trying to remember what it's called. Mahakala Dham, the one looking downwards. Right? So up to that point you can get. Srila Prabhupada is right. Without spiritual realization, right, a materialistic person cannot genuinely renounce this material world. It's not possible. Because until we give up this idea that I am God and I am enjoyer, it's very hard. So it's 8:45. We have ended chapter 20 and now we will enter into 21. So devotees want to share something, some of their thoughts. Yes, Prabhu.
I was actually just wondering if Brahmaji is referring to the cross body or subtle body in the sense that,
Brahma only has a subtle body.
So this gives
Brahma is, I think, I'm just not remember now, 99% intelligence. I'll get, there is actually a quote that tells the breakdown of his body. I don't remember exactly. 99% intelligent. So, Ahankar is there. Ahankar is there, but the majority of his body is made of intelligence, buddhi. Yes. And a little bit mana is there, but buddhi is the main thing. Yeah.
So, giving a part of his own body.
Yes.
Is that to everyone or just the sages?
No, the creation. The creation. Okay, so just to explain, that's why I was trying to explain the three Brahmas. Brahma the Jiva, he can't really do much, right? The universe is very big, right? So what he does is he prays to Vairaja Krishna, right? Or Vairaja Brahma. Now Vairaja Brahma is the 1,000-handed form, the 1,000 eyes form. So when the bodies have to be given out, our Brahma, the Jiva Brahma, is asking Vairaja Brahma, okay, give this body, give that body. Are you understanding? Krishna is the 1,000-handed form of bodies. So from that Vairaja form, the bodies are coming out. Is that making sense? So Krishna is giving everything. You didn't understand what I'm saying, or you understood? No, you didn't understand. Okay, so there are 3 Brahmas, right? So there is Hiranyagarbha Brahma, he's subtle. Then there is Vairaja Brahma, he is the gross form. He is Vishnu in the gross form. Do you remember in Canto 2, we were doing Purusha Shukta prayers? Do you remember that section? All of that is Vairaja Brahma. So telling he is so many hands, so many forms. So when Virata Rupa is shown to Arjuna, what is Arjuna seeing? He is seeing everybody in that. So what does everybody mean? You, me, we are also in that form. You know the faces? We say, I can see thousands and millions of faces. You know, one of the faces, your face. Your face. Yes, this face is there. This is the form. We are talking, this is the huge form. Everybody, he says, I can see everyone, past, present, future. Everybody. That's the form. So that's Vairaja Brahma.
So in spite of giving away all these, would he be like inexhaustible in the sense that...
Yeah, no, because, answer is yes, but he is not the inexhaustible one. Vairaja Brahma is the inexhaustible. So the answer is yes.
So he has a
Yes.
sense is similar to what Ishopanishad invocation says. It says that...
No, that is Vairaja Brahma. That is not Brahma the Jiva. No, Brahma Jiva, that shloka is not for Brahma the Jiva.
No, like I mean, I'm talking
Yeah, Vairaja Brahma? Yes.
Is it actually similar to that one? Like when he actually gives away, he doesn't lose anything. So because he's actually complete whole, right? So
Yeah.
when he actually gives away, he doesn't lose.
Okay, so as long as you understand that the giving away is not done by the Jiva, then the answer is yes. If you have understood that, then the answer is yes. That Purnamada, so Ada means that, and that is Krishna. Idam is this, that is the Jiva. So as long as you understand that, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Yeah, devotees want to share something? Yes.
I think I heard for this for pastime because of how Brahma is giving up his different bodies.
Yep.
It also some devotees say it refers to a state of consciousness.
Yeah, you're right. That's why, because he has no gross body. It's all subtle. So you are right, because it's all intelligence. So you are giving up consciousness. You're right. That's what I was saying. 99% is intelligence. Yeah. So when he's giving up, when he's shedding that, he's shedding the consciousness. You're absolutely right. That's correct.
Very quick question. We had in today's verse and yesterday also the word on vidya knowledge.
Yes.
But then in the translation, Prabhupada and yesterday also translated it as adoration.
Yes.
Do you know what's the link between knowledge and adoration?
Well, because so it depends on. So that's what I'm saying. In adoration, you can give it and you can take. Both in adoration, you have two things. You can adore something or you can take it. Both of them require knowledge. For you to like something, you need vidya. But then the problem is, if it's materially inclined, then actually it's avidya. This is from, what's it, chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita? That this all is knowledge, everything apart from this is avidya.
So adoration?
So adoration is, let's say I like you, right? So for me to be able to like you, there is knowledge involved. There is something, I may like the way you talk, I may like the way you cook, different things, right? There is adoration there. But now I like it because you are cooking for me. Is that the reason? And if the answer is yes, then that is actually avidya. Or you are cooking for Krishna, now that is vidya. So it depends where or what the goal of the adoration is. If the goal of the adoration is Krishna, it is genuine vidya. If it is not, it is avidya. And so that's why Srila Prabhupada is using the word adoration. You will see the acharyas also do the same thing. They're saying that when there is knowledge, right, the purpose of knowledge is actually, do you know when we do Mangala Charan, we do the three things, right? Ashirvada, Namaskriya, Vastu Nirdheshu. So these are the three things we do in knowledge. We give blessings, we pay obeisances, and we define an object. These three things are actually the sum total of what knowledge is meant for. So Jiva Goswami writes in Harinam Vyakarna, this is the purpose of words. The purpose of words, akshara, what is its purpose? This, to glorify Krishna. He is the vastu nirdeshu. He is the object we must glorify. And if it is not this, it is still words, but it is not knowledge. So Jiva Goswami does make that point. It's very nice purport that he writes on that. This is in, I think, the Mangal Charana of Harinam Vyakarna, where Jiva Goswami mentions this. In Harinam, yeah. There is a very nice book written by Matsya Prabhu. I forget his full name. Do you remember his full name? The one in Govardhan. Matsya, he's written a book on Harinam Vyakarna. I encourage everyone to at least read the first chapter. It's a very big book, but read first chapter. It's really well written. Right? He is very nicely presenting Jiva Goswami's points. Yeah. Anything? Yes?
So you were mentioning that Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad is teaching us to go beyond the natural.
Yes.
You were saying we have got this platform.
Yes.
So sometimes we tend to take the platform we have got so lightly, so take it for granted. So how can we understand what we have got? How can we?
No, that is journey. Like journey, no one can steal from someone else. Each one of us have our journey. Right? Everyone sitting in this room has his own journey in Krishna consciousness. That is unique. That's why you are unique. Your individuality is unique. How you take your journey is unique. And that uniqueness in your journey will create a unique mood with Krishna. You all, like each and every one of us will have a unique mood with Krishna. And that unique mood will come from our journey to Krishna. And so to your point, is there general theme is sadhu sangha. One should have sadhu sangha, one should, read books, one should do devotional service. Those are all there. The ABCDs are there. But in terms of, can I cluster myself with everybody? No, you will have a unique journey. Your journey will be unique. To eventually realize that, okay, everything is Krishna, and I'm, therefore I love Krishna. So that journey, that journey is unique. But in terms of the standard practices, we have association, reading books, chanting our rounds and doing devotional service. So that is there. The ABCDs exist. But I think to your point, how can one individually, that is an individual journey. Many times we will recognize that, oh, this is Krishna's, and immediately we will forget. Immediately, right? Immediately, like, okay, I got this position because of Krishna, but now that I have it, that's us. So that is us. I know it's Krishna's. I know. You see, Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, even Duryodhan, they are discussing many things. They're discussing many things, right? But in that discussion, there comes a point where they say, well, okay, it's destiny. They get it. They're not fools. They get it. But now that I have it, right? Now they begin their journey. So that is true as well. So you see the beauty of Hiranyakashipu's story, why that story is brought out, right? Bhagavatam is only talking about devotees, right? It's talking about the journey. They get cursed. Just think about their journey, right? They get cursed. Jai Vijay, they're there. Jai Vijay get cursed. Now they go through 3 yugas. That's a long time, 4 million. Like a long time, right? 3 yugas they go through. They will take 3 different births. Finally, in the end, when they see Krishna, meet Krishna, think of Krishna, that's when they go back. So you can see from their journey, that's why this journey is like, these stories are explained for these reasons. For us to understand our journeys are unique. Everyone here will have his own unique journey in Krishna consciousness. And it will be slightly different to the other person. It may be similar. I read a book, I ate prasadam, those are standard. So, the ABCDs are standard, but each one will have its own unique how they got to Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Anything else devotees want to share? No? Granth Sahib Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande.